Hey there everyone, Videogame Cabinet here, and tonight we're doing a review on Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I have owned this authentic CIB of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for over 20 years, and I have watched people play and talk about this game for over 35 years. However, I never committed to actually playing through the game myself until now, at the age of 41. It was an absolute joy to finally experience this long-celebrated classic, and it was an immense accomplishment when I finally knocked out Mike Tyson at the end of the game. It took me about a week of casual play to beat the 3 circuits of fighters, starting from Glass Joe to Super Macho Man. And then it took another 5 days to defeat Mike Tyson himself. When I was first fighting Mike Tyson, I was using the code the game gave me to fight Super Macho Man first, but I soon started using the secret code to go straight to Tyson. And after hours and hours of practice and perseverance, I finally got the TKO on Tyson in the second round. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out pushes you to sharpen your reflexes like few games have. This is without question one of the hardest games on the NES, which is famous for its extremely challenging games. The game teaches you to react rather than predict, and you must do so in a split second or else you can get knocked out. It is very much like real-life boxing in this regard. You can slip, block, jab, cross, and throw body blows. You can also earn stars that allow you to throw a powerful uppercut. The moveset is brilliant in its simplicity, so speed is the name of the game. Punch-Out is loaded with personality. Each of the boxers is distinct in their outlandish look and skill set. They all feel like a challenge at first, except for Glass Joe, but defeating them becomes second nature once you learn their tells and tendencies. Mr. Sandman gave me the most trouble in the third circuit, but Super Macho Man and Soda Popinski were also pretty intimidating until I learned their patterns. However, none of these guys in any of the regular circuits gave me as much trouble as Tyson did. Mike Tyson easily ranks as one of the top few hardest bosses I have ever beaten in a video game, and probably the single hardest boss I have beaten on the NES. I am very proud to have finally played and conquered Mike Tyson's Punch-Out after all these years. It is a classic of the 8-bit era, and I am rating it a 9 out of 10. And that is my review. Yeah, I bought this beautiful, like, near mint condition CIB with the manual in the box, beautiful condition, like 20 years ago for I think something like $14 at a game store. It's worth much more now, obviously. But yeah, I saw people playing it when I was like 5 years old and started playing the NES, and I saw my cousins playing it, my neighbors. I don't think I ever really sat down and played it much myself, but then early 2000s, 20 years ago, so I must have been, early 20s, right now I'm 41, I saw it in a game store and I picked it up, and I've kept it in beautiful condition ever since, but I never actually sat down and played through it until, like, the last couple of weeks, I'd always meant to, but, it looked pretty hard, yeah, the last couple of weeks I committed to finally going through this celebrated classic, and I'm so glad I did it. And Mike Tyson himself, my God, when I think of just hard bosses on the NES, the only other one that I can think of that I've played and beaten is the Grim Reaper without using holy water in the original Castlevania. He's super hard, but I think the final boss of the original Ninja Gaiden is probably really hard. I've played him and played that game on emulation, but I haven't played it on the authentic cart yet. I need to put more time into that game before giving my opinion on it and doing a review. But I'm sure it's a great game, and that boss of Ninja Gaiden will rank with Mike Tyson and the Grim Reaper for sure. But for now, absolutely, I would say that, yeah, Mike Tyson, beating him is just the hardest boss on the NES for me. The Grim Reaper, the problem is that you have to go through that long hallway first and then fight him. But with Mike Tyson, even just using the secret code to go right to him, like, it was still really hard, you know. But I guess at some point when I get around to it, I might try doing the code that takes me to Super Macho Man that the game gives you as soon as you beat him. Beat Super Macho Man and then follow with beating Tyson, and I don't know, eventually start from Glass Joe and go all the way to Mike Tyson. But that is really hard. For now, I'm satisfied with just using the secret code to go straight to Tyson and beating him like that, and of course beating the other 3 circuits the regular way. But yeah, so I don't know. This definitely ranks as one of the hardest games on the NES for me. The top that I've beaten so far, I still have more to experience. Like, I have not beaten the Ninja Gaiden trilogy or Shatterhand. That's another one that looks really hard. But of the NES games that I have beaten, to rank this along with those, I'd have to go by like pretty much how long it took me to beat them, how long it took me to practice. And number 1, I would say, is Battletoads. That game took me 4 weeks. I beat it in early 2020, legit, yeah, about 4 weeks of practice to get through that beast. So I would say Battletoads is number 1 hardest. Number 2, definitely Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That game also took me about 4 weeks, and I did that right before doing Battletoads. So like late 2019, early 2020, that's when I beat Ninja Turtles. Number 3 after that, I might go with Journey to Silius. I remember that being super hard. I beat that one, I think, in 2021 or so. That one I remember taking about 2.5 weeks of diligent practice to get through. You know, and then after that, I would say that Mike Tyson's Punch-Out would probably go next. And then maybe like in the same tier of difficulty, because this took me about a week and a half. I said a week and 5 days. The next tier of difficulty I would say is maybe the original Castlevania if you are not using Holy Water on the Grim Reaper. That's a cheeseball move. If you're beating him with boomerangs and the whip, that makes that game super fucking hard. The rest of it is not that bad. So, I mean, I've been playing the original Castlevania off and on, well, since a kid, but like I beat it a few years ago by using the Holy Water, and then was playing it occasionally, and then just very recently in the last couple months, or month or two, I beat it I beat the Grim Reaper with the whip and cross. So I don't know, I would say the original Castlevania using the whip and cross on Grim Reaper is about the same as beating Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And then after that, I would say Ghosts and Goblins, that the first quest I have beaten. I have not beaten the second quest yet of Ghosts and Goblins. I know a lot of people rank this one a lot higher. They say it's like number 2 under Battletoads. I would not say that. With the super short levels and like there's only 5, like something like 5 levels. They're super short, and there's even a midway checkpoint on like 4 of them. And the infinite continues and infinite lives really bring down the difficulty on this one. If it didn't have those things, yeah, this might be number 1. But I don't know. Like the frequent checkpoints and infinite continues and lives. But then again, I haven't beaten the second quest, so I don't know. Once I do that, maybe it'll float a little higher on the rank of difficulty. But yeah, I don't know. And I still have some more games to go. Castlevania 3, I have beaten that on emulation with save states 20 years ago. I'm going to have to go through it on the authentic card at some point. But I do have the Japanese version, which has better music and it's easier. So I'm going to play that one first. See how that one ranks. But yeah, I still have more games to go on the backlog, as we all do. You know, the NES still has plenty more hard games for me to discover, but yeah. So, but yeah, anyway, so those are my thoughts on hard games, and most especially my review of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. This is just a classic game. I'm super proud to own the CIB, and super proud to have finally knocked out Mike Tyson himself in the game. It's just an amazing accomplishment. So that's it. 9 out of 10 for Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Have a good night.